So today my topic is very, very touchy. So we're going to touch it. Because it's touchy, we will touch it. Praise the Lord. And it's talking about marriage, and we're talking about staying, living, and healing. And the last part is what I like. Her story still matters. Her story still matters. You know, I like to tell stories. So yesterday I heard that one of the topics was tell your story. It's so important. So important. So in talking about staying, I want to talk about my mom. My mother didn't go to school. My mother was one of the gentlest human beings I have ever met up till today. My mother was not educated, but she carried herself with such daintiness, you respected her. My mother picked her battles. I tell you something. When I was younger, my dad was still trying to make it in life and become comfortable. We lived in a face me, I face you kind of house. You know what I mean. And we had many neighbors who also had many children, like my father and my mother had many children. Sometimes while we are playing, tempers will rise and we may fight with the other children. Or, well, generally we beat the other children. I think we were more rugged. So we beat them, then we will run home. We'll run into the house, and my mom usually, she's sitting on her chair by our door. We'll run in, and she'll just still be sitting there. And the mothers of those children would chase us down, enter our house. They won't even talk to my mother sitting there. Enter our house, go in there, and beat us up inside the house. And come out of the house and go, and my mom won't say anything. Not because she was a coward. She will wait for my dad to come home. And she'll say to him, I don't want to disrespect you by fighting. So go and tell that woman who came here or tell her husband that his wife came into my house to beat my children. It should not happen again. That's the kind of person my mother was. But she was also married to a man who didn't care. At least not at the beginning. He cared because he had nothing. And she was the one standing with him. She was the one going to farm with him to pay his school fees. She was the one that stayed when he was going to school, and the white people that came to my village carried him and sent him to school, sent him to England, She was the one there. And one day, many years down the line, he decided he needed another wife. So he takes off. He decided he needed another wife. Not that day. He had been cheating and cheating and cheating. Papa, sure you are in heaven hearing me, no vex, but I have to tell them. He was cheating and cheating all over the place. Then one day he decided to marry one of the women and bring them home. And things shifted in our house. Before he married her, he brought her to the house. And my mom, for the first time I saw a lioness. She stood up. This woman will not enter my house. You cannot bring this woman. My mother was very small. I'm taller than her. My dad was very tall. One day I asked her when I was young, I said, Mommy, why did you marry such a tall man? Look how short you are. She said, wait until you marry. And I married a very tall man too. And then when I was married, she said to me, why are you marrying a very tall man? All right, so she stood in front of him. And the woman he brought in was almost as tall as my dad. She was big and beautiful. And my dad, for the first time in my life and in my mother's life, lifted up his hand and slapped my mother. She was pregnant with my youngest brother. He hit her and her nose began to bleed. I was 10 years old. I will never forget that. I remember what my mother was wearing. I remember where she was standing in our house. I remember the look on my father's face when he realized he had slapped this woman. But his pride wouldn't let him back down. And he told my mother, for daring to defy me. Then, that child my mother was giving birth to was number 10. My mom had 11 children. Some didn't survive. The first two I didn't meet. So he told her to go get her bags and leave. Pack your things and get out of my house. And my mom turned with the blood on her nose and went to pack her things. She took the little girl she had brought from the village that was living with us. She said, let me take her back to her parents. And she took my little, forgive me, she wasn't pregnant with my little brother. She was pregnant with the last child, Abigail. So she took Timothy, who was about 2 years old then, and she was pregnant with Abigail, and she had the little girl. She packed her bags and she went outside. She was trying to get a vehicle. Now, when he hit her and told her to pack her things and leave, he left with the woman. The rest of us, life ended. We stood there, and the trauma and the terror and the fear, we didn't know what was happening. Our parents had never fought before, never been violent. And suddenly this thing was jammed down our throats in a moment. Now my mother has been asked to go. She's packing her bags. What's happening to the rest of us? And my mom went downstairs and was looking for a vehicle. We were standing on the balcony upstairs crying, looking at my mom. And my dad came back. When he came back and saw her with her things in front of the house, he drove past. We didn't know where he went. My mother got a taxi, got to the motor park. My dad was a vehicle inspection officer, VIO. It's not the type you have today. Then VIOs were like gods. And he went to the park and told every driver in that park, there's a woman coming pregnant with a little boy and a little girl. Any driver that takes her will lose his license. So he told her to go, and he took from her the power to go. My mother stood in that park and nobody would take her. She left and went to outside so she could find the ones that were just driving past. Anyone she was able to stop, somebody will run from the park. If you carry this woman, your license is gone. And they would drive past. My mother got frustrated and sat on her box. Then my dad drove back to the park and told her, enter the car. He carried the box, put it in the car, carried her and brought her back home. There was no apology. There was no remorse. There was no shame. There was more victimization. Because now he was behaving like he did her a favor by bringing her back. There's a place for staying when marriage becomes a death trap. There's a place for staying. Those places are few, and they are usually from a direct command from God. The example I have is Prophet Hosea. God said to him, go and marry a prostitute. When I saw Pastor Tolu's interview and I saw comments, I was just laughing. How convenient it is to sit with your tiny little phone and be typing nonsense that you haven't walked through. I wonder what social media would have said about Hosea then, no? Hey, he cannot be a prophet of God. This one, he cannot be God speaking. Marry prostitute, gonorrhea, HIV. He's a false prophet. He brought a prostitute to his house. She left him and went back to the men. God said, go and bring her back. He went and brought her back. She left again. God said, go and pay money and buy her back. Prophet of God, marrying a prostitute that is not repentant. There's a place for staying. It's usually warfare. God will ask such a person to stay because there is war to be fought or there is a message to be passed across. But there are not plenty. All the other ones that are doing, like Mama Oshika said, Father Lord, if I sent myself, have mercy on me. Many of the people who are staying sent themselves. God did not ask you to stay. Anything that will strip you of personhood is not godly. And abusive marriages do that. They strip you of your sense of personhood, strip you of value. And what is the most heartbreaking is that we sit down and we accept it. It is my cross. Who told you that is what the cross means? I looked at my mom that day and I made a silent vow. See, let me tell you, Some of our brokenness comes from watching those broken relationships. We become broken like that too. I made up my mind. I said, no man will treat me this way. I will never take this rubbish from any man. Now, the tragedy of staying when you shouldn't, or there is a way to stay and it is not healthy. It is the staying without hope, staying without leverage, and staying without strategy. If you don't want to go, you want to stay, you cannot be hopeless staying there. If people come to the rehab, we tell them what we want to give you from day one is hope. Because if you take hope from a person, he's done. If you are staying in that space, don't be hopeless there. 2, my mother had no leverage. She had no education, no money, no family. Her parents were both dead. And he knew. Her siblings were struggling. She was the one that used to take small from my father's house, who was very rich, and give to her siblings. So there was nowhere to go. She had to sit there. Please, those of you listening, don't leave your daughters without a place to go. My daughter was getting married. Somebody came and said, want to marry. I said, oh God, I don't know you. She brought you. She said she loves you. I love you too. Oh. I said, but please, did she tell you where she did her first degree? He said US. Did she tell you where she did her master's? UK. I said, can you quantify that in naira and kobo? He said, ma, that's a lot of money. I said, yes, money I could have used to buy Louis Vuitton and Louboutin and that. I said, I used it to raise a lady. So lady like that, she has attracted you now. I said, hear me well. I didn't raise a punching bag. Don't lay one finger on my daughter. The day you do that, I'll take her from you. You don't have a wife anymore. Man that say, why are you saying that? I say, oh God, say your own. This is my own. I am putting this boundary in place so this man knows what is okay and what is not okay. Do not hit my daughter. On that account, she will always have a room in my house. He said, ma, my father never did it, so I have no example to copy. I said, God bless you, son. May we have men like that, that their sons can boldly say, my father didn't do it, so I don't have an example to copy. Then he said, but ma, please, I want to say something. No? I said, okay. He's a lawyer. Ma, I don't know what I would do if she slapped me first. So I said to him, I didn't raise her like that. I said, just as it is not okay for you to hit her, it's doubly not okay for her to hit you. So don't stay there without leverage. What are you leveraging on? When a person breaks the covenant down to rubbish, you are not bound to uphold that because it's no longer a covenant. At this point, your leverage should be contract. It was a covenant from the beginning until they broke it. It becomes a contract. And I'm not afraid to say that. The church needs to start speaking and stop making the victim responsible for fixing what they didn't break. Stop making the victim responsible for repairing what they didn't break. How can a woman run to you for shelter? She's been beaten. Oh, the house that I began. You don't know what made me start that safe house. God told me 8 years before, start a safe house. I said, Father Lord, the rehab center has not stabilized first. Let me be stabilizing that one. One day I woke up and there was a woman in my house. She was standing and swaying. And it was somebody that brought her. She was saying, Mommy, please help. I said, what? She said this morning the husband was beating her. He held her neck and was banging the back of her head against the wall. As she was speaking, the woman fell down and slumped in my house. I thought she had died. I started shouting, Jesus, help me. I put her on the bed. I know the husband, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. See, some women are married to narcissistic men who are perfect gentlemen outside, but they are monsters inside the house, and you don't know. So when they are talking, you'll be saying, that nice man. No, now. Please don't do that. I ran to the office to help my head understand what I just saw. I met a woman waiting for me. She said, I'm not going back home. She followed me back home. The next morning we woke up, there was one knocking on my door at 6 a.m. frantically, 25 years married, running for her life with a small bag on her shoulder. What is it? Ma, please, I can't go back home. You will kill me. By the end of that day, another one came. The husband had used knife to beat her. What is that? That's not a covenant anymore. When God was giving the covenant, he was assuming that people will be children of God. Most of them are children of the devil now, carrying the name of God as a cover. In the last few weeks, Auntie Billy, if you know how many women have sent me messages about their husbands and what they are doing to them, and they are all pastors. Abuse from the pulpit to the pew. Please don't stay without strategy, don't stay without leverage, and don't stay without hope. If you must stay, I don't have time. Like Auntie Billy said, the clock, somebody moved it. I can't believe the time is already gone. But why did you people give us short time like this? Abigail was married to a man called Nabal. Horrible human being. Wicked man. Insensitive. Without spiritual discernment. She was sitting with darkness. But I love Abigail. When she heard that David was trying to do something, she said, my opportunity to meet a king. Let me tell you something. Don't shut your mind down to loving again if you have to leave. I'm jumping my gun. She was sitting there, but she had hope. One day, God will deliver me from this madness. And when she saw the opportunity, because she was spiritually sensitive and prepared, she took it up. It's not David that chased Abigail. Abigail chased David. Abigail arranged herself like Queen Esther to be seen. She finished pampering his ego very well. Then she said, please, when the Lord puts you on the throne, remember this beautiful woman you saw. This. Don't be like Pastor Jane that was walking around thinking only of 32 and a big forehead. Know that you are beautiful and say, remember this woman. Even if I'm not beautiful on the face, remember my prophecy saved you from losing your throne. Be good for something. That's your leverage. Be good with something. How about if you choose to walk away? The amount of courage you will need. It's such a big deal in our society. I don't have time to expand on some things. To leave. How does a man commit adultery and you shame the wife? What is that? And you too, you will accept the shame. Oh, I'm so ashamed. Of what? When adultery rocked my marriage, shame broke me. I was afraid to come out of my house because I was ashamed. Everywhere I was going, I would hear people whispering. I wasn't hearing audible whispers. I was picking them up in the street. The whispers of the people bent me, put my head down. I was afraid to go minister anywhere. When I would be invited, I say, sorry, I'm already committed. I was lying. I'm not committed, but I couldn't go. And one day God said to me, if you hide, you won't heal. That's why we have to tell our stories. Today, this morning at the hotel, when we were about to leave, we saw a group of men. I don't know them. One of them just looked at me. Wow, are you Reverend Christy Bature? I said, yes. He said, man, these are my friends. We're not married, but we're listening to your videos because we want to marry right. Boom! I know my life is having meaning now. That young men are saying to me, we want to marry right, and we're listening to your videos. We must tell our stories. Stop hiding. And then God said to me, it's not your shame. You are not the one that committed adultery. It is not your shame. Stop carrying somebody's shame and making it your own. If you are living, it's not your shame. That is if you are not the one that is looking for trouble. Because some of us are the problem. But because men are the bigger problem, we hide under that and we commit atrocities. Like the woman who came to me, he beat me, he beat me, he beat me, because they know that once they say he beat me, I'm going to go and fight. So I sent for the husband. Look at how distinguished you look. How can you beat your wife? He said, Ma, is that all she told you? I said, yes. He said, am I allowed to speak? I said, yes. He said, Ma, we've been married 10 years. And a few days before I beat her, we got a call from our children's school. One of our sons was given an assignment to write a short essay on his family. And he wrote a very short essay, one sentence. In my family, my mother beats my father. She has been beating the man for 10 years. Not because he's weak. Listen to this. The man made a vow before he married. I will never lift my hand on my wife. And he made the mistake of telling his wife that this is his vow. So she was taking advantage of that vow to slap him, bite him, kick him, throw things at him, push him. And the children were watching. So the man said to the wife, all the good things happening in our family, our children can't see it. Because of this one thing. This is not the good image or a good image of family. He said, don't hit me again. If anything happens between the two of us, speak like I do to you. Do not hit me again. The day you hit me again, I will beat you. I don't know that she thought he was joking, or old habits die hard. The next time something happened, she slapped him. He gently steered her to the bedroom because he didn't want his children to see. Then he beat her in places that she cannot show anybody unless she will naked herself. I said to him, sir, you are a very smart man. I like you. I told him to go out, and he went out. And I said to her, is it true? You've been hitting him for 10 years, and you can't take it once? You can't take a dose of your own medicine that you have doled out continuously for 10 years? How dare you come to me and accuse him of what you are more guilty of? I called the man back. I said, Oga, even when she's not guilty, please help me beat her. They knew I was joking. They were laughing. But sometimes we are the problem, and we have to be brutally self-honest and say to ourselves, I am the problem. But that's not who I'm talking to today. I'm talking about the good women, the honest women, the faithful women, the laboring women, the loving women who stay with monsters like Beauty and the Beast. Those are the ones I'm talking to. If you have to leave, leave. Because now only person where they are alive, now they marry. Oh, I got a message from a lady. What she describes for me is death. And she's asking me, please pray, ma. I say, pray for what? What am I praying for? That you should remain there and these things will continue. This is not a man that is willing to do anything about the problem, and you want to still stay. What is this thing about marriage? How come it is more valuable to us than Christ? How have we elevated marriage to an idol? We have become idolaters. That somebody will be... God will never elevate marriage above the value of a life. Never. A life that Jesus paid for, you want to let it go for something temporary? There's no marriage in heaven. Everything about marriage ends here. Why will I then give up eternity for something temporal? Because some women are in such bitterness that they will not enter heaven. Because of another person that Jesus died for. No now. No now. The church will keep shouting, God hates divorce. He does not hate divorcees. You did not hear me. God hates divorce. He doesn't hate divorcees. I did not see anywhere in the Bible where the Bible says divorce is a sin. God hates it because of the ravages of it. How it tears a human being, or it tears human beings that were already bonded like with super glue. The pain of breaking away, the scars on the person, on the family, on the children, on the institution. That's why God hates it. But listen to this. God was speaking in the Old Testament. He said to the men who like to put their wives away, even if she's a concubine and you want to send her away, you cannot send her away empty. God was concerned about a concubine man, not even concubine, slave wife. You can't send a slave wife away with nothing. And you that you were married in church, in court, in tradition, in I don't care what, they push you out with nothing because you sat down with nothing. So, Auntie Aoshika, you people need to write workshop and courses on how to help women value themselves. Place a value. Because of where you are operating from, you are believable. Because you are a woman like them. Like you said, the people on the wall were human beings. But a woman who has entered places that are considered sacred for men will speak and women will listen. Ma, you need to. Place a value on yourself. When you go to normal markets, Obalende, you want to buy tomato and you say, how much is this tomato? And the woman says 2,000. You say, ma, won't you sell it for 1,000 naira? She say, why are you pricing me small? You people haggle back and forth. If you go to ShopRite, they have put the tomato inside package and they put 6,000 on it. Do you stand there and start saying, can't you people reduce it? Do you do that? If you don't have 6,000, what do? Keep moving. Place a price on yourself. Only those who can afford it will come close. I don't have time. No, you don't have time. Oh, you are not the owner of the time. The Pastor Tolu. Oh, listen to what God says in the book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 14. You know, whenever they read Malachi, they only go to where God says he will open the windows of heaven. But the chapter before that one, chapter 2, he says in verse 14, but you ask, why aren't our offerings accepted? It is because the Lord is a witness between you and the wife of your youth, to whom you have been unfaithful. Yet she is your companion, the wife of your marriage vows. Didn't God make you one? Your flesh and spirit belong to him. And what does the same God look for but godly descendants? So be careful not to be unfaithful to the wife of your youth. I hate divorce, says the Lord God of Israel. Listen. I hate the person who covers himself with violence. It's not the woman who is beaten and abused that God hates. It's the one who has covered himself with violence. Don't take on that identity. Yesterday, a woman was speaking to me. The man left her and walked away and left her, and she was the one paying all the bills in the house. Then she said, he even went and had an affair. And then she said, maybe it's because I was not giving him enough. I said, will you shut up? Up until that time, she was talking. I didn't say a word. I said, shut up and stop it. Why is the response to everything a woman does wrong adultery? She does not know how to cook. Therefore, I go and sleep with another woman. How does sleeping with another woman teach her how to cook? Hey, she's not greeting me well in the morning. So I went and said, how does that teach her how to greet in the morning? Hey, one of them told me she chews with her mouth open. I said, sir, after 10 years of marriage, did you people do courtship? Did you ever take her out? Did she eat in your presence? Did she eat with her mouth open? I said, sir, you are very stupid. Forgive me. You saw her like that. You took her and sapped the best years of her life. She gave you children that bear your father's name. Sometimes you say it like abuse. They bear your father's name. Then now suddenly you realize that I'm chewing with my mouth open. When you leave, don't leave carelessly. Don't leave without plan. When women have to leave, I say to them, where's your safety plan? Show me your safety plan. Don't just jump and go and then you come back in shame. Plan yourself. One of the times when my husband annoyed me, I left. I went to his bank manager. I collected. I said, please, here's the IOU note. Go and collect it from him. I collected his money from his bank manager to run away. Why will I run without a penny? The children were with me. But I've learned a lesson. When you run, don't run with the children. I'm not joking. Because you are leaving him with peace and ease. It was my sister that taught me that. When I ran with the children, she said, where are the children? I said, they are with me. She said, for what? I want to see you in my house. So I went to her house. While I was inside one room, she packed my children to the airport, put them on a flight and called him, go and carry your children from the airport. I wanted to die. My youngest was 1. I said, Auntie, my children. She said, if you don't shut up, I will slap you silly. You have left him at peace. You are the one with the pain of the things he's doing and the pain of laboring over children. She sent them back. Let me tell you what God did for me. As he picked them from the airport, one of them fell sick. So from the airport, they went to the hospital. From the hospital, they told him, Oga, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. He ran with the children, other children home, ran back to the hospital. The next morning, he came in the morning, ran to the office. Before he sat down, they said, sir, you have to come back because there's a document you have to sign. He picked up the phone and called me, please come back, I'm sorry. Everything that happened is my fault. I said, no. I don't do anything in that house. I have no value. Take care of them. Christy, come back or I will call my mother. I said, is she not their grandmother? What are you so afraid of? I don't want to leave so that another woman will not come and cream off my labor. That's because you think your reward is with man. The guy wants to come. She should come and collect. Somebody else wants to enter. Come and enter and collect what I was collecting. Because it's the same person. Yeah, I don't want to leave. Another woman will come and enter my place. What is that place? The place of your sorrow and shame? The place of your suffering and degradation? The place of your valuelessness? Don't sit down there until you are discarded like a used rag. Because that's what happens. They discard you. May God give me opportunity to speak to men. Oh no, they are beginning to call me to speak in men's conferences, but I cannot talk with this confidential. But I will still say what I have to say. Let them not chase me from there. But I like it. Some of the pastors are saying, Christy, come, speak to our men. We have to go back to who we say we are. When Pastor Awoshika was speaking, she kept emphasizing, it's about who we are. It's about the identity. When Pastor Jane was speaking, it's about our identity. Who do we say we are? If you tell me I'm a Christian man, I have a right to expect Christian behavior from you. Don't tell me you are a Christian and I find out that you are a... Let's not call names. I have a right to expect. If you brought me to the church to wed me in the church, I have a right to expect fidelity from you. It's my right. Don't open your mouth and tell me this is how men are. Accept it. Which men? One man told me, is in the church, in the nature of men. Not in the nature of men, they cannot stay with one woman. I said, which nature? I want to ask you a question. Please, sir, have you read your Bible? In whose nature were you created? He said, in the nature of God. I said, and God is a cheat? God is a cheat? God is a dog? For the first time, I think he thought about the stupid statement he was making. Whose nature? Meanwhile, women are catching up fast in adultery. Let me be balancing it. Because some of you women, there's a massage parlor in Port Harcourt only for married women. There is no female masseuse there. All the massagers are men. And they are not men with dry chest. They are muscular hunks. And it doesn't end in massage. Of course, you know by now. For married women only. I've overshot my time. Let me touch the last little bit in 1 minute. Healing in the middle of the... No. Let me say this. You know, culture and religion will give you a backlash if you leave. What do you do? I want us to look at the scripture in 1 Samuel 17 verse 28. Please give me like 3 more minutes. Let me land this and then be done. 1 Samuel 17 verse 28 to 30. And Eliab, the eldest brother to David, heard when David spoke unto the men. And Eliab's anger, the culture's anger, the religious anger was kindled against David. And he said, why camest thou hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? As if he was the one that had been taking care of them since. I know thy pride, and thy naughtiness of thy heart. For thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And David said, what have I done now? You need to be willing to open your mouth. Yesterday, Chi girl was just giving me electric shock with some of her answers. All those aunties that come and meet you and say, when are you going to get married? She said, I said to them, never. When I say never, they don't come back again. I've dealt with them. They can't come back. He said, what of my grandchildren? Go and buy. You have to learn to speak. David said to his brother, what is it? Haven't you done enough? What is it? Haven't you done enough? He said, what have I done now? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another. He turned. That's what you must do. Turn. They have come to start telling you how you should have lived the life that they did not help you live. Turn. Turn to the Lord. The Lord will give you your sense of value. The Lord will restore your sense of personhood. He made you. You are precious to him, married or unmarried, widowed or divorced. You are precious to him. His blood paid for you. You have value with God forever. Nobody can take that from you. Turn. Turn. You know, you have to learn not to hear some things. Unhear. I don't know what happened in the last few months, but from the time I came to Fountain of Life in April, something happened on the internet. My messages were just all over. They're just putting it in people's faces. Okay. I have seen some comments about me. In fact, some people have been so worried about some comments, they forwarded it to me. Reverend Christy, look at what they're saying about you. Somebody said, just like David's brother, that is my pride. That I'm a proud person. And I cannot say it is God that told me to take the child that my husband fathered in adultery. That is my pride. Another one said I'm a criminal for taking a child from the mother. Another said liar. Why are you talking about family patterns? It's a lie. Everything ends with the blood of Christ. All kinds of things. Turn. You think I want to focus on that when I saw 5 men today who are telling me they want to marry right because they heard what I said? Those are the people I'm sent to. I'm not sent to everybody. My mother, oh Lord, my mother stayed and stayed and stayed and stayed and lost herself. The day my father died, my mother died. She didn't die physically. She kept hoping one day he would turn and look at me. Now that first woman that he beat her for, they married, and after 7 years, the marriage packed up. He sent that woman away. My mother was still there. Then he retired from the city and moved to the village and married another one. This one was the age mate of my junior sister. My junior sister is my mother's number 8 child. I've been number 7 child. So my mother kept waiting and hoping. Get sense, I beg. Have some sense. One woman said, he cheated with this woman, then he cheated, now he's cheating with 2 women in the church. Please, ma, help me talk to him. I said, I won't. Why are you the one looking for help for him? That's how you'll be pushing yourself where you are not needed. Did he tell you he needs help? Has he seen that he has a problem? You are still trying to fix. The day my father died, my mother didn't cry. I went to the village and I was shocked. Is she this strong? She was the one comforting people. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Then they buried my dad. I couldn't stand there when they were putting my dad in the ground. I was in too much pain. I moved away. My mom stood there, dry-eyed. They put him in the ground. The next day, we were all sitting in the sitting room, reminiscing about our dad because he was a very funny man. Saying the funny things he used to say. My mom was sitting there, quiet as usual. Next thing we just heard was, and my mother passed out. If my senior sister, who was a nurse, wasn't home that day, my mother would have died that day. Because everything she hoped for died with him. Don't hang your hopes on a human being. Stand to your feet. I cannot even touch the other aspects of this. But stand to, don't hang your hope on a human being. The arm of flesh will fail. It did not say can fail or may fail. It will fail. Those of you who have men that are honorable, that fear God, that treat you right, we celebrate such men because they exist. There are good men who are loving their wives, honoring God, and giving value to the woman God gave to them. We honor those men. May the Lord multiply your kind in the name of Jesus. But if you have a man that is bent on breaking you down, please find your value in another. Is the Almighty. Is the Almighty. I want you to pray for yourself. If your husband is a good man, please pray for the woman you know who is suffering. Pray for the woman you know who is in deep distress. Either that God will give her the courage to leave or to give her her strategy to stay. But please, if they are beating you, if they are threatening you with gun and knife, leave. Leave. You will do battle from afar, not from inside. Leave. I'm not saying leave and jump to divorce. No, leave and intercede from afar. Preserve your life and your dignity. And then hear God as to what to do. Praise the Lord. Father, Lord, thank you. Thank you for every woman's journey. Every woman who has cried, bled. Every woman who has been in distress and anxiety and anguish. Every woman who has loved and lost. Every woman, oh God, who has had to walk a lonely journey. Comforter. Comforter. Ruach HaKodesh. Come. Come. Come, touch everyone who has suffered. Walk with everyone who is suffering. And please, Lord, bring them to the place of healing. I couldn't touch on healing, but Lord, bring them to the place of healing.